Thursday night, 8 p.m. hits like a hammer on steel. Rumble lights up, we're loading the wheel. Bible ain't open, screens burning red. Me and my man cutting through the dread.
Head to truthmedia.com, grab that raw feed. No corporate chains,
just truth, plant the seed.
I'm the shadow hunter, she's the warrior flame. Tracing justice, live, torching the game. Shadow lights explode when the clock strikes 8, and arms riding hard, crashing through the gate. Drops turn to fire, darks tear the veil. Truth or media blood, we never will fail. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, me and you. Husband and wife forged in the fight, digging graves for lies under freedom's light. Great awakening roaring, feel that rebel fire. Truthmedia.com, taking it higher. Lock it in, brothers and sisters. Faith like iron, no surrender, no rust. Rumble's our highway, in truth we trust. From morning to cold to the midnight ride, tracing justice forever, no place to hide. Dawn and justice mornings, Thursday night thunder. Rumble at 8, tear the veil asunder. 2026 burning, this love runs deep. Man and wife standing, no promises cheap. Tracing justice, running hard and true. Thursday 8 on Rumble, breaking through. Husband and wife side by side in the war, digging deep for truth forevermore. Great awakening blazing, set the night on fire. Truthmedia.com, lift it higher.
Welcome in every morning, and sorry about the late start. I was having some computer glitches right before we went live. So everybody, welcome into Dawning Justice. This is your local morning. I tell you what, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, my time, to do this show. So this is your morning news, digs, and drop show. So thank you everybody for us. Everybody came in yesterday, and we had an amazing episode yesterday. The viewership was off the charts. So I very much appreciate everybody for coming on in. So we are broadcasting from Rumble. So if you're one of my Rumblers over there, make sure you're giving me that thumbs up, and won't you hit that little repost for me too? I really appreciate that. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're watching us right now, whatever kind of platform that you're on, give us that like positive affirmation, thumbs up, whatever it is. If you're over on Peeled and you're one of my pill poppers over there, make sure you pop that red pill for me and repost the show for me as well. And I can never forget about my X family. My X family is where we got our start at. So I see all kinds of people in the chat this morning. So welcome in my Truther Media family. It is so good to be here. So POTUS is over in China right now at this moment. So I'm excited to talk about that a little bit. We've got a lot of news to talk about. We've got some decodes. I'm going to try, if we have enough time, I'm going to do a live decode today on some Scavino posts that I just saw come up. So yeah, guys, it's going to be a good show. And just remember that we are viewer funded as well too. And this show is also brought to you by www.justiceshrooms.com and www.justisepetclub.com. So, guys, they are a new sponsor for us, and they have an amazing product, but we're going to talk a little bit about that later on in the show. For right now, guys, I know I've got a lot of coffee drinkers out there, and I tell you what, I have got some great coffee from you. So let's see what the guys at Hunter's Blend Coffee has to offer us today, okay?
Hey, are you tired of giving your money to woke coffee companies that hate you? Well, you're not alone. So here at Hunter's Blend Coffee, we donate to organizations such as pro-life, veterans, youth shooting sports, hunting and conservation, anti-sex trafficking, patriot organizations, and others. Now, we buy only specialty grade coffee, which is the top 6% of all coffee. It does cost us more, but we think you'll agree the exceptional flavor is worth it. And we pack and ship fresh right to your door. Well, you'll smell the difference when you open your mailbox and taste the difference in your first sip. Welcome to the Great Awakening.
So if you want some good quality coffee, I know Tracy loves their Dawning blend. It is some top shelf stuff. So Mike over there, they make a great product. So check them out, huntersblendcoffee.com/tracing justice, and use Tracing Justice as your code to get 10% off of your first order. All right, guys. So I want to go through the chats real quick because the chats are kind of lighting up a little bit. So we got our pill.net. They're still waking up over there. They're not really used to having like a morning dig show because let's face it, a lot of the anons out there, they're all asleep. They've been up decoding and stuff like that. Not this guy. I kind of went to bed early a little bit. I'm trying to get on my routine here so my morning peeps can have something to watch, going to work and listen to going to work. And I hope you're not like watching me in the car, but if you are, stay safe. And so let's go through the X chat. So my Xers out there, Freedom Fire 1776, morning in Novell, morning. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I know that you DM'd me the other day, so I'm gonna have to go back and check that. I am the world's worst at pronouncing names, so you got to bear with me, guys. All right, so Gamey Love, yes. Good morning, Kelly, Elenito 0711, Cindy Rocks, Lana, Janie, Yeet Force. He's one of our mods. So you better be careful because USAID is in the chat too. And these guys, I'm going to tell you what, if you step out of line, they're going to get you. Nah, I'm just kidding. And Irish Patriot. So Irish Patriot has been reposted not only by Boss, but Elon Musk too. So he's over in Ireland fighting the good fight over there, trying to wake everybody up. And so let's see who we got over here. So we got over on YouTube, Danny B, welcome in. And Monica Rodriguez, morning, Josh. Been with you since the beginning. Not much of a chatter, but love your show. 100%. Thank you. Thank you. And Danny's coming in from Portland, Oregon. So welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Like I said, Peel.net is kind of waking up over there. So let's see who we got in our Facebook feed here. So let me go back up and look here. So we got Irish Patriot is double dipping over there on Facebook as well. Lana's over there on Facebook as well. So guys, thank you so much for that. Let's go through the Rumble chat. The Rumble chat's always fire. So let's see here. We got Nana2112. Nana is usually one of the very first ones in the chat, like before the show even starts. So thank you so much. I'm just going to call you Garth97 because that's pretty easy for me. So Garth97 coming in. Abby Blue Eyes. Thank you for coming in and, kind of catching us live, because I know, like, when you're a podcaster like Abby is, it's so hard to find time to watch other podcasts because you're always digging, you're always going through things, you're always getting ready for your show, so I get it. So thank you so much for coming in. And let's see, Tense15, USAID paid, like I told you earlier. He's one of our mods over here for this show. And let's see who else we got coming in. So, gosh, you guys are chatting. Seth Larrabee, part of our Truther Media team. Seth, I sent you an invite for tonight for Tracing Justice, so kind of let me know about that. Cardius Maximus, he is also another one of our mods, so thank you. Welcome in. And Kelly B, 910, welcome in. Welcome. I think Kelly double dips a little bit. Yeet Force is over here in the Rumble chat. Let's see. Jeans3, I have not forgot about your invite, sir. We're kind of talking it over, and because we have a grandbaby on the way. So I didn't know if you know that we've got our 8th grandbaby on the way, and she's about ready to pop. So we're kind of trying to keep our schedules open just a little bit. So Seth Larrabee also comes in with the $17 Rumble rant. Long live POTUS and Trump. Christ is king. Absolutely. Julie Donuts, another Truther Media member in the house. So thank you for showing up. 1231 AVR and R Pierce 17. And Tammy for real, good morning, good morning. Now, I know there's going to be a lot more funnel in as we go. So if I miss you, it's not because I didn't care. It's because I have got so many screens in front of me right now. I'm still trying to get used to my setup here. So, guys, do you want to hop into some news? But before we kind of hop into some news, you know that we always put God first. So let's go over. I have to test out something. I need a 5-5 from you guys if everything is okay, because I'm testing out a new little screen here. So if you can hear me after I go to this, give me a 5-5. Well, guys, I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me right now, guys? Give me a 5-5 if you can still hear me. Or give me a thumbs up, whatever you want to put in the chat, because I'm trying to take myself off the screen when we've got, 5-5 here, 5-5. Okay, good deal. So let's go ahead and go into our daily devotional. And Seth, I didn't catch yours in time if you've made it yet. So we're going to go over Digital Soldiers. He is part of our Truther Media team. So, Digi says, good Thursday morning. Before you get started on your day, let me ask you, why are you feeding your mind? Because whatever you're feeding your mind is shaping the way you see everything else. The news you consume, the voices you listen to, the thoughts you allow to live rent-free in your head. All of it is forming something inside of you. The question is, what is it forming? Because His word says this: do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And that's Romans 12:2. So read that carefully. Do not be conformed. The world has a mold: fear, anxiety, offense, confusion, constant outrage, constant noise. And if you are not intentional, the world will slowly press you into that shape without even realizing it happened. But God says, be transformed, not slightly adjusted, not behavior managed, transformed from the inside out, starting with your mind. Because peace is not just an emotion. Peace is the fruit of a renewed mind. A mind anchored in His Word. A mind that filters noise through truth. A mind that remembers in it, not of it. You live in this world, but you do not have to think like this world. You have access to the mind of Christ. So before this Thursday gets loud, ask yourself honestly, what voices need to be turned down? What truth needs to be turned up? Because transformation does not happen accidentally. It happens when you choose God's truth over the world's noise every single day. Have a blessed Thursday, friends. So again, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Excellent, Digi. Seth and Digi make some of the best daily devotionals I have ever come across. And they really, really hit home for me a lot every time that I read them. I know Seth has been doing this quite a while too, and I want to thank those two individuals for what they contribute to Truth Media every day. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing what you do every day. All right, guys, are you ready to hop into some news? Because there is a lot of things going on right now. So give me just 1 second, guys, because when I had my little technical hiccup, I lost some of my hotkeys. So give me just a second. It kind of just makes things flow a little bit better. Well, and 3. Okay, let's see what we got here, guys. Let's see if I'm working now. All right, guys. So we got CIA sees JFK and MK Ultra files. Real AF Patriot says Anna Paulina Luna says that the CIA has seized boxes of files from Tulsi Gabbard's office regarding the declassification of JFK and MK Ultra. So let's watch this quick clip.
Tulsi Gabbard's office. Agents hauled out dozens of boxes, files on the JFK assassination and MK Ultra, the CIA mind control operation, which she was in the process of declassifying. Today's whistleblower said it during his deposition, and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna confirmed it moments ago.
The reason why this is troubling is, A, there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK Ultra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed.
Can the CIA overrule the president?
No, the CIA cannot overrule the president. The CIA cannot even overrule the director of national intelligence. In 1975, the Church Committee, which became the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, specifically ordered DCI William Colby to release all of the MK Ultra files. He famously went back to CIA headquarters and ordered that all of the files be destroyed. 85% of them were destroyed. He was held in contempt of Congress, and then CIA employees lined the halls and contributed cash to pay for the fine that he was ordered to pay. We only know what we know about MK Ultra because of the 15% of the files that weren't destroyed. These are among those 15% of the files. They are mandated to be declassified. The American people have a right to know what is in these files, and the CIA can't raid offices, least of all the offices of the Director of National Intelligence. It's just, real life isn't supposed to work this way. This is crazy.
This is something out of a movie, but the CIA was experimenting with LSD on willing and unwilling participants during the Cold War for intelligence operations and to exploit people, and it didn't go well a lot of the time. No. And they threw it all in a wastebasket, right? Like, it never really worked. Is that why they don't want anybody to know about it?
I think they don't want people to know any more than what we know about, for example, dosing innocent citizens of San Francisco, California, or a small village in France and putting LSD in the yeast at the only bakery in the village just to see if everybody in the village would go nuts, which they did, of course, or coming up with a program in San Francisco to hire prostitutes to dose Johns and see if they would cough up their innermost secrets. Ridiculous.
Q drop 129. Closing act with CIA in the kill brackets. Dismantled. Impossible to clean. Operations to no such agency, NSA in the brackets. Q. Looks like we got some more files to be going through, guys. Is this a planned thing? I don't know. Is it to keep showing us how the CIA is corrupt to get to this right here? Closing act, dismantled, impossible to complete, clean, operations, no such agency. Q. I believe you're going to see some more disclosure on the CIA, but here is another example on how the CIA is dirty. Shadow of Ezra also reports that the CIA took back 40 boxes of the JFK MK Ultra files Tulsi Gabbard was reviewing for declassification. And guys, if you didn't know that we actually have senators and congressmen on X saying that this never occurred, when Tulsi Gabbard herself says that it did occur. It did occur. And here is the clip to where it's actually being admitted right here.
The CIA refused to provide information necessary to understand why analytical standards at the CIA were violated. The CIA illegally monitored the computer and phone usage of DIG personnel, their investigations, and contact with whistleblowers. These were Americans being spied upon illegally while executing duties directed by the President and under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence. One CIA contractor assisting with the DIG's investigation into the events that transpired between 2022 and 2023 was fired by the CIA one day after meeting with the DIG. When the DIG ceased operations, the CIA also took back 40 boxes of JFK files and MK Ultra files being processed for declassification by DNI Gabbard.
So there's a lot of conflicting information out there. There's people saying it didn't happen. There's people saying it did happen. I got a whistleblower right there in Congress saying it happened. So, did it happen? Did it not happen? I don't know. But there's more people saying it did happen then it didn't happen. So people's been asking me on X, they're like, how do you find all of Truther Media's shows? So I'm going to show you guys on how, cause I'm actually kind of proud of myself because I'm the one that constructed this thing right here that I'm fixing to show you. All right. So here's Truther Media's website, okay? www.truthermedia.com. Okay? And as you can see right here, this is our broadcast schedule. So we have a now, up next, and later today. And you can see right here, we have a grid right here as well that shows you all the shows that we have and what times that they come on. So you got AJP Army down there, right there at 11 p.m. You've got Dawning Justice right here at 8. You've got Keeping It Real at 12. So I'm having some computer issues again. So, guys, go to www.truthermedia.com and you can find all of our channels right there, what times that we come on, so you never, ever miss a show. All right, guys, so let's keep on trucking. So let's see what we got going on. So we've got little Mayorkas coming back in as well. Real AF Patriot reports Mayorkas is blaming Biden. Alejandro Mayorkas is now trying to blame Joe Biden for their open border. I voiced my views. There were areas of disagreement within immigration policy. Mayorkas is being put back into the spotlight. 300,000 children trafficked. Tick-tock. And let's see this quick clip.
Did you feel that you had the support from the president in order to succeed?
There were areas of disagreement within immigration policy and in other areas, but I voiced my views. I was very pleased that in June of 2024 we took executive action that I thought made reforms that were sensible.
If those
and that proved successful.
If those executive actions had been taken 1 or 2 years earlier, do you think Donald Trump would be the president today?
I am not in a position to speculate, but I will tell you that I would be far more better rested and less punched.
Something's coming up. Some kind of disclosure is coming. Because he's trying, if you haven't figured it out yet. Oh, thank you, Abby Blue Eyes, for appreciate that, for the compliment on the website there. And yeah, Adult Crumbler. Yeah, we have a really nice spread all over the day. So, check us out on truthermedia.com. But guys, if you haven't figured it out yet, this is what they do. They try to get ahead of the story by saying, well, I tried to say something. I tried to say that we didn't need to be doing this, and this open border policy that we had was no good. Guys, let me tell you something. That guy was one of the orchestrator of bringing everything in. So he kind of flies under the radar sometimes, okay? We put Fauci in the spotlight. We're going to be talking about Fauci here in a little bit. We talked about James Comey. We talked about Mueller back in the day. We talked about Gina Haspel. A lot of these people, like this Mayorkas guy, he kind of flies under the radar. So we need to put him in the spotlight. We need to say, oh, no, sir. No, sir. You were one of the ones that perpetrated the child trafficking. Guys, let me put it into example. This is why we do this. This is why I sit here in this chair. This is why I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to bring awareness to all the children being trafficked. That's the main one of the main focuses is our children. This is why we do this. This is why you watch shows like this, and to go to try to red pill your friends out there to wake them up so this don't happen to our children's children. So we're not letting Mayorkas get away with this saying, oh, I tried to tell them that this wasn't a good idea. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. All right, so let's move on. So just now, Brett Baer asked top Chinese military officials straight up, is the tension rising or subsiding between the U.S. and China? The official replied, we are competing. We are not your enemy.
Do you think that the tension is rising or subsiding between the U.S. and China?
That's a good fundamental question. I believe among all these kind of allegations, argument whatsoever, 21st century actually is easier for us to live in than during the 20th century, because that was characterized by a kind of ideological rivalry. Yeah, in 21st century, we are competing. Even in your term, we are competing within the same international system. Yeah, we are not your enemy, and we are best described by you as a competitor. So competitors could live within the same system, and I believe because the world is facing so many changes, not only climate change, but also like agentic AI, right? So it is really in our own interest for our two countries to take the lead. I don't mean G2, but for us to take the lead, yeah, to make this world livable at least.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So guys, I want to show you something else. What if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS to eliminate the NWO? So guys, you have to remember something. This is a worldwide operation we're going through. It's not just, don't think United States. United States is going to be the first domino. Okay? So we would not be able to carry out this operation that we're going through right now without the help of other countries. So what did POTUS do? He made a new alliance. China, Russia, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. All these people that we thought that were not our friends, that the MSM fed us in our little brains. You know, even Abby, I'm sure you can attest to this. When we were in school, Russia, not good. Russia's no good. Stay away from Russia. We don't like Russia. When in reality, Russia is one of the most Christian countries there is, that aligns with our values the most in the world. Russia has bailed us out in world wars. Why wouldn't we be aligned with Russia? So you have to remember when you're watching all this news and the MSM is like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe we're aligning with Russia, because it's coming. Just like POTUS going over to China, it's coming. The MSM's going to come after him for making these alliances. And now it's coming out publicly. We've known for a long time that we're secretly working with these people. Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think that Russia went into Ukraine? Because we couldn't do it optically. We couldn't take out that deep state hub optically. When are optics no longer important? What you have to remember is that we're using other places and other countries to take out deep state hubs. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at the UAE helping us right now over in Iran. Look at Russia going into Ukraine. Taiwan's fixing to come into the spotlight too. All right. So earlier today, while we were all sleeping, the U.S. national anthem plays for POTUS upon his arrival at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing, China. Yeah, Tense 15 said in the chat, those booms scared me at first, because we've had all kinds of, assassination attempts on our president. So, when we hear these things, we're like, oh crap, here we go again. But, ladies and gentlemen, you just witnessed that clip right there is history. Our kids, whether they be homeschooled or we have public schools or whatever, our kids are going to watch that video and watch that clip, and they'll say, President Trump made history by going to China again. Why was no other president ever wanting to go over there? Because back then, China was our enemy. And now we're realigning. The world is realigning now. And Freedom Fire, it says, Rico is coming. Absolutely, Rico is coming. And you have to think worldwide because China has a deep state too. Russia has a deep state too. It's a worldwide Rico case being played out right in front of our eyes. All right, so we got some more news to go through here. Tracy says, they need to go. Kevin Sorbo says, at the Muslim Youth Center in New York, Mohammed Badaway says, as a Muslim, my last mission is to fight the U.S. government. Keep in mind, he's saying this at the Muslim Youth Center in our own country, in New York. My life's mission is to fight the U.S. government, the U.S. Army, and ICE until my last breath. That is the reason for my existence. These people cannot stay here.
As a Muslim, my response to all of this is do your worst. I am not afraid. Because even if this body is broken, the spirit inside of it, you cannot reach. And it will continue, and Allah will replace you. Whether I see that or not is irrelevant. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of the U.S. government. I am not afraid of the United States Army. I am not afraid of ICE. I'm not afraid of whatever they control. Not only am I not afraid, but it is my life mission to stand against all of the above. That every single iota of strength, wealth, and spirit that I have until I die will be spent fighting everything I just mentioned. To the last breath, or until they cease their oppression, cease their injustice. That's my reason for existence.
Why we can't send out our FBI or even ICE to go find that guy and say, let's see your immigration status here. Get these people out of our country. So I want to back up to and say this. We all wanted these big name arrests in 2025. Okay? I saw it everywhere. Arrest. Oh, we need arrest. 2025 to 2026 was for two reasons in the Trump administration. Number one, we just saw it. We had to get all these foot soldiers out of our country. Because if we didn't get the worst of the worst out, I know they're still everywhere, okay? I know there's illegals everywhere still. I get it, okay? But you have to listen to what POTUS says. He said we're going after the worst of the worst first, okay? There's a reason for that. Because when we start handing down all these indictments that we're coming up on, I believe, throughout this year, when we're coming up on all of this and people are starting to get arrested and convicted and going to jail, if we had all these foot soldiers still in the country, all they're going to do is pick up the phone, go for it, cause chaos, start killing people, start doing whatever you got to do to change the news cycle. The war is real. The news is fake. The war is real. Tammy for real says, did you see Nick Shirley get kicked off Muslim property? I believe he was in Texas. And that's crazy to me, ladies and gentlemen, that Texas is even like that. We've got to stand up. Not physically against these people, but we have to make the awareness out there about what's going on. All right, let's move on. All right, this is a big one, guys. Breaking. The U.S. Senate has advanced Kevin Warsh to become President Trump's chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Confirmed President Trump's choice to run the Federal Reserve. The vote for Kevin Warsh was 54 to 45. Pennsylvania's Democrat John Fetterman was the only Democrat to vote in favor of Warsh. He will replace controversial Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
So here in a little bit, we're going to be going through a two-parter on this. Casey Coyle with Truther Media wrote an excellent article about where we're heading financially. Yeah, 1015 says the 17th Federal Reserve Chair. I usually don't throw like all the 17s out there, but you can't avoid that one. The 17th Fed Chair. So let me explain something to you. And I know a lot of my viewers already know this and are my family that knows this, that watch our shows. But here's how I believe that the Federal Reserve and the central banks are going to end. First off, you get a lot of these people sliding into your DMs saying, oh, we need QFS. You've got to register for QFS or you're going to be left behind. You're not going to have any money. You're just going to be up the creek without a paddle. So give me all your information and let's get you in this QFS system. Oh, we've got some redemption centers going to be opening. Guys, I've heard that for the last 6 years. 6 years I have heard about these stupid redemption centers that's going to be opening, and you're going to get your Q phone and all of this stuff. Guys, all that stuff started with Charlie Ward. He was one of the biggest grifters in our movement has ever seen, on the same level as Alex Jones. All right, so here is how Trump works. We're going to go back to the Department of Education. We know that the Department of Education is corrupt. We know it's got to be taken down. So what did Trump do? He appointed Linda McMahon as the Department of Education secretary. And now what's happening? The Department of Education is slowly being dismantled and taken apart. Do you honestly think in this military operation that we're going through right now that Trump is just going to flip this switch and he's going to say, you need to go to these redemption centers. You need to get all your money. We're going to transition all of this over, blah, blah, blah. And what's that going to do, folks? That's going to create mass chaos, mass confusion. It will rock our economy. When you listen to a bunch of these people talking about our financial systems, what are they trying to sell you? Look at that first and foremost. What are they trying to sell you? Are they also trying to sell you these survivor kits and everything like that? Oh, blackout. We're going to have, 10 days of blackout, no power. Q already told us there would be no power outages. So you got to think about this kind of stuff and use your brain. POTUS doesn't operate in chaos and mass confusion. Kevin Warsh is the first step into slowly dismantling the old guard, which is the Federal Reserve and the central banks. We have to get our economy right first, people. What's he going to do? Trump's already told you what he's going to do. Kevin Warsh is going to get in there. I'm not sure when he takes over as Fed chair. It's not like an immediate thing, guys. So I'll have to do a little bit more research into that, okay? He's going to cut interest rates first. And what is he doing with Iran right now, folks? What has all these U.S. oil companies are saying now, or these gas companies and stuff? They're going to start getting U.S. oil again. We are going to become the #1 exporter of oil. And the reason I say that and why I'm tying this together is because when the price of oil comes down and natural gas comes down, the economy rises. Okay? We're going through a transition period in energy consumption right now and where we're getting it. A lot of these companies in the U.S. saying, the heck with it. We're not getting oil out of the strait anymore. Don't you think Trump knew exactly what Iran was going to do? Why did we go into Venezuela first? Why are we talking about making Venezuela the 51st state now? So here's the flip side to everything. Kevin Warsh. He comes in now. I believe one of his first actions is going to be lower interest rates. Okay, what does that do? It reduces the burden of the everyday person by getting loans and things like that, okay? So That's going to supercharge our housing economy. Okay? Now, I want you to take something else into account. With all these deportations going on out there, I'm seeing it everywhere. There's houses available everywhere now. There's places for rent now available. Rent is coming down a little bit, okay? Not much. But when what's going to make rent come down is housing sales is going to go up. And there is a reason why Trump says we need a 50-year mortgage. Do you honestly think somebody's going to hold on to a 50-year mortgage? That is a stopgap, people. That is a stopgap to be able to get people back into owning a home. There's this little thing called refi that people do all the time. He's giving us tools to be homeowners again. But all we want to do is going, 50-year loan, holy cat, we can't do that. Guys, it's just a tool to get you back into a home. Now, going back to home sales and the interest rates, okay? When the interest rates come down, home ownership goes up. What does that do? That creates jobs in the construction. That creates jobs in retail. That creates jobs everywhere. So when you go everything all at once like that, from all these sides, we're really about to come into the golden age of our country. We really, honestly, it's going to happen, people. It's going to happen. You just need to look at the global picture of what's going on and how things come together in our economy. And quit listening to all these influencers out there reading about everything. And, I had somebody come into it, I can't believe we're having a 20-year car note. Well, what has Trump said? We're getting vertical takeoff vehicles, people. It's coming. It's coming. It's closer than you think. So what are we going to need to pay for something like that? Maybe a 20-year note? Who knows? All right, let's get back to the news, though. So this is kind of funny. President Trump is in total American diplomat mode at this point. Chinese restaurants in America today outnumber the 5 largest fast food chains in the United States combined, and that is a pretty big statement.
As allies in World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt's mentions of the brave people of China, that's what they were, drew loud cheers in his speeches in the United States, and everybody loved what he had to say. Just as many Chinese now love basketball and blue jeans, Chinese restaurants in America today outnumber the 5 largest fast food chains in the United States, all combined. That's a pretty big statement.
So that's pretty funny. I did like that. Tracy and I sometimes I'll be sitting around and I'll be like, you know what? I'm on a diet now, though. So guys, if you haven't noticed, I am on a diet. I was jonesing so bad for a brownie yesterday. I've not had any sugar for a little bit, and I'm trying to take these mushrooms too, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But it's actually helping me. But we'll be sitting around sometimes, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm in the mood for. She's like, what? And I said, mediocre Chinese food. You all know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about. Okay, going to your corner Chinese takeout place. I know it's not good for me, people. I get it. But dang, sometimes you just got to jonesing for some mediocre Chinese food. So I want to go through the X chat for just a little bit because we've got some really good comments. So MAGA Man says, my son is 7 years old and he can barely read. And that with me and his mother reading to him every night and having him try to read. The kids need to have good public school straight up. And that's what they're trying to do. The Department of Education's getting all this woke crap out of our systems. Freedom Fire says that's why the education departments are freaking out. And she also says, the reason you are seeing the Canadian Crown panic hard right now, if you ever want to know where the majority of the public school teachers' retirement funds are, look at Canada. Yeah, Sandy Rock says that on the video that we watched about POTUS going in, she said she thought it was 17 booms, but it was actually 14. Yeah, Julie Donut says, donuts. Krispy Kreme's the best, man. And they're so bad for you. Julie, whatever happened to that little project that you had going on with Julie's Donuts? So there's these healthy donuts, because I am interested in that. I love me a good donut. Dog 1969 comes in with a $50 Rumble rant. So thank you so much for that. All right, so let's get back to some news. I get off track sometimes. I'm sorry about that, guys. So, Nick's Order reports President Trump just officially invited Z to the White House for a state visit in September. It is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Ping to visit us at the White House September 24th. Let's watch this quick clip real quick.
Thank you again, President Xi, for this beautiful welcome. And tonight it is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House this September 24th. And we look forward to it. And I'd now like to raise a glass and propose a toast to the rich and enduring ties between the American and Chinese people. It's a very special relationship, and I want to thank you again. This has been an amazing period of time. Thank you, President Xi.
Where did POTUS done? What is the significance? What if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS to eliminate the NWO? Are you seeing it yet? Z coming to the United States, that's huge, people. That is huge. All right, so you've heard me talk about these mushrooms, okay, that I'm taking. If you're interested in it, go to justiceshrooms.com. I'm going to play this little video, and I'm going to show you a couple of the samples that I have been taking, because when I was talking to Kurt the other day on the phone, he's one of the founders of Forest Natural. He was like, Josh, listen, I know you're on a diet and everything, but you're going to see some really good results from this too. We have people that go on these things that start losing weight and they don't change their diet. And I was like, really? And he was showing me some of the data on it. But let's watch this quick clip. Be right back.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
So Pet Club 24/7 and Forest Natural are the same company, okay? But their products, they have human products and they have pet products, okay? So here's a couple of the things that I'm taking now, okay? So we've got the Enforce Plus, okay? that promotes the healthy immune system. So basically what they told me is that this kind of resets and rebalances your natural immune system. It supports wellness, helps facilitate longevity, helps promote healthy blood pressure, which I need. And it is non-GMO. It's all 100% natural. It's gluten-free. It's made in an FDA-registered facility, okay? So that is an important thing that I want you to remember with this company. It's all USA-based, sourced, bottled, everything. You're not getting stuff from India, people. We have seen the videos of stuff over there in these Indian medical facilities. It's not great, people. So this is one of the core things that they say, okay, start with one of this. Start with this. Now, also what I have been taking is I've been taking this Enforced Clarity. It's basically like lion's mane, okay? So it supports healthy brain functions. It supports healthy nervous systems. And it supports the stomach and colon too. Now, people, listen, I learned this a long time ago. Your stress, your anxiety, guess where it starts at? It starts in your gut. Your gut health is everything in your body. It affects how you absorb your nutrients, everything like that. Freedom Fire, I'm going to be adding this product onto our website this weekend. So just go to justiceshrooms.com. It'll take you right there. So this is another one that I've been taking. Now, I have got this pack right here. And I know you see the $239 price tag on that. Well, that Beauty and Longevity Gel is kind of like just an enhancer. You know, Tracy is taking it right now and trying it out. But the most important thing is the bottles right there. The Plus, the Clarity, the Shield, Restore. I'll go over the Shield and Restore tomorrow. But if you just wanted to get those 4 bottles, I think it's like $1.99 or something like that. But they do sell this longevity pack, though, you know, for my women out there that want to. It's a mushroom-based longevity gel that's supposed to, you know, smooth out your skin and things like that. So I don't know about that. Tracy's the one trying it out, so I'm going to have to get her input on that here in a couple of weeks. So check it out. Just go to justiceshrooms.com, and we also have justicepetclub.com. And the good thing about the Pet Club is there are animals that's had cancer before. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to help your animal that's got cancer, but there has been studies made that after they start taking their version of the shrooms, they've been in total remission. So check it out. justiceshrooms.com, justicepetclub.com. And Laddie Addy comes in with a $20 Rumble rant. Good morning, friends, and God wins. All right, let's get back to the news. The Stormers Arrive said, absolutely incredible. Z, while giving a toast to President Trump, is literally talking about making America great again. This year is also the 250th anniversary of American independence. The over 300 American people that are reinvigorating the spirit of patriotism, innovation, and enterprise, ushering in a new journey for the development of the United States. The people of China and U.S. are both great peoples. Achieving great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and making America great again can go hand in hand. We can help each other succeed and advance the well-being of the world.
完全可以并行不悖，相互成就，造福世界。
This is a historic visit. This year marks the start of China's 15th five-year plan for economic and social development. The over 1.4 billion people of China, drawing on the rich heritage of our over 5,000-year civilization, are advancing Chinese modernization on all fronts through high-quality development. This year is also the 250th anniversary of American independence. The over 300 million American people are reinvigorating the spirit of patriotism, innovation, and enterprise, and ushering in a new journey for the development of the United States. The people of China and the United States are both great peoples. Achieving the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and making America great again can go hand in hand. We can help each other succeed and advance the well-being of the whole world.
I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the world is realigning right before our eyes. Julie Donut says President Trump speaks about the children because they're being saved worldwide. He says nothing by chance. President Trump is also bringing world peace, historic and unprecedented. The greatest president ever.
Very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing, and they represent so much. And I know they represent so much to you. You and I have known each other now for a long time. In fact, the longest relationship of our two countries that any president and president has had. And that's, to me, an honor. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. I would call you, and you would call me. And whenever we had a problem, people don't know, whenever we had a problem, we worked that out very quickly. We're going to have a fantastic future together. Such respect for China, the job you've done. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true. I only say the truth. And I just want to say, on behalf of all of the great delegation that we have the greatest businessmen, the biggest, and I guess the best in the world. We have amazing people, and they're all with me. Every single one of them, we asked the top 30 in the world, every single one of them said yes. And I didn't want the second or the third in the company. I wanted only the top. And they're here today to pay respects to you and to China. And they look forward to trade and doing business, and it's going to be totally reciprocal on our behalf. So I really look very much forward to our discussion. It's a big discussion. There are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever. They can never remember anything like it. I can say in the United States, people aren't talking about anything else. But it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We know what he's talking about, the children. There's being children rescued in tunnels by our military daily. You know, way back when we did a show and on tracing justice, and we were talking about all the tunnels and everything like that. And we had on Lieutenant Colonel Bossy, and he was going through some of the things that he knew, and it was just simply stunning on what that has been hidden from us for so long and what they use our children for. President Trump does care about saving the whole world, but he cares most about the children. Thank you, President Trump. I appreciate that. Breaking, a CIA whistleblower just testified that the lab leak was covered up. Fauci's role was intentional.
Fox News alert, Anthony Fauci's in big trouble. The little man in a lab coat got a lot wrong and never fessed up to any of it. 2 weeks to slow the spread, wear a mask, and whatever you do, don't say lab leak. Well, today, a CIA whistleblower told the Senate the deep state is still covering up where COVID came from, and Fauci helped them do it.
Intelligence community leaders and senior analysts downplayed the possibility that the COVID pandemic originated as a result of a lab incident. Dr. Fauci's role in the cover-up was intentional.
But the cover-up didn't start in 2020. It started in 2015 when Fauci had his own scientists change the rules so he could keep funding gain-of-function research, the kind that was happening in Wuhan. Fast forward 4 years, October 2019, the CDC, Johnson & Johnson, and the former number 2 at the CIA teamed up with Bill Gates' foundation and the World Economic Forum to war game a fake coronavirus pandemic, just for fun.
This was a coronavirus pandemic tabletop exercise, curiously similar to the events that played out during the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was attended by Dr. Fauci and individuals with IC ties like former DNI Avril Haines.
Here's what their pretend pandemic looked like. See if this jogs your memory.
CAPS is a serious respiratory disease. More than half of the recognized cases have required hospital care, creating a huge strain on healthcare systems. The fatality rate is about 10%. Even so, some people only exhibit mild flu-like symptoms, not requiring treatment in a hospital. Alarmingly, those people are able to walk around and spread the virus, not realizing they are doing so. Even worse, international travelers have been arriving at their destinations symptom-free, but within a matter of hours, becoming ill.
Weird coincidence, right? 2 months later, December 2019, China reports its first COVID case. Fauci immediately goes on TV and says it did not come from a lab.
Could you address these suggestions or concerns that this virus was somehow man-made, possibly came out of a laboratory in China?
The mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human.
What Fauci didn't mention, 2 months earlier, he'd already huddled up with the top virologist, and privately, they were all worried about a lab leak.
Dr. Fauci convened the now infamous February 1st, 2020 call. Some scientists on that call privately raised serious concerns about a laboratory origin. Yet, ironically, those same scientists later co-authored the proximal origin paper, which publicly dismissed the lab leak hypothesis. One author received a $9 million grant from Dr. Fauci's own agency after he changed his opinion from lab leak on the private phone call to natural origin in public.
Fast forward to August 2021, the CIA is 5 days away from calling it a lab leak. Then, out of nowhere, the story changes.
As of August 12th, the CIA was considering calling this a lab leak, August 12th of 2021. And then that changed on August 17th of 2021. Right. And unfortunately, because the CIA would not provide us documentation that we asked for, we have no idea why that changed. It was significantly influenced by Anthony Fauci's injecting himself into the IC.
So Fauci cooked the intelligence to cover up how 1 million Americans died because he had his fingerprints all over that leaky lab. Then the Fauchmeister dropped the hammer on the truth tellers.
Following the CIA's COVID relook that culminated in 2023, the CIA retaliated against analysts supporting the lab leak hypothesis. CIA managers retaliated against them for their refusal to agree with management's middle-of-the-night anonymous rewrite of the analysis, which changed the assessment to a non-call judgment.
Now, remember when Fauci swore under oath that he never, ever, ever, ever funded gain-of-function?
The NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute.
Turns out he just changed the definition of gain-of-function and kept writing the checks.
Several of the BSEG scientists helped Dr. Fauci rewrite definitions of gain-of-function in 2015 to lift a funding pause on dangerous research.
So the very scientists that were commissioned to investigate COVID were, in some cases, the very scientists who were complicit in the origins of the gain-of-function experiments that may well have created COVID.
So the guy who may have funded the pandemic gets to run the investigation into the pandemic? You'd think the other party might want to ask some questions too, right? But Democrats couldn't find the room
Senator Ruben Gallego, Democrat from Arizona, actually walked by us about 15 minutes ago. He saw the media cameras here, and we couldn't tell if he was joking or trolling or not, but he said, hey, what's going on here? And his staffer said, wow, I don't know, and they walked past us. So he's on that committee. He's not in the room.
Earlier this year, the CIA finally admitted it. COVID most likely came from the Wuhan lab. Only took them 5 years. But there's just one catch. The CIA says they have low confidence in their own answer. So they're pretty sure COVID came from a lab. They're just not sure. Rand Paul says the rest of the agencies are still slow-walking documents, while the same people who got it wrong are telling you to get over it. The good news, Fauci isn't out of the woods yet. AutoPen gave him a pardon, but state prosecutors can still go after him. And the feds are looking into whether to open a criminal case of their own. And they should. 1 million Americans are dead from a virus cooked up in a lab, and someone's got to answer for it.
It's finally coming round, folks. When you see segments like that played on Fox News, you know we're close. Like I said, I believe that this is going to be a summer of disclosure. It's going to be a hot summer. It's going to be a summer of disclosure. In the fall, we'll see the fall. And I believe around Christmas time, we'll finally see justice. These things take time, people. Promethean action. Senator Slotkin says that Trump has to beg China to fix Iran. Barbara Boyd's answer? China needs Iranian oil. We're drowning in surplus. That's leverage. She also exposes the Toronto huddle. Carney, Obama, Alex Soros. New midweek update is live, and I want to share this video with you. Give me just 1 second.
Senator Alyssa Slotkin on CNBC's Squawk Box yesterday, claiming that President Trump is going begging to China because we're losing the Iran war.
But at this point, we're going in a little bit on our heels because the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, isn't open. And now, you know, I'm hearing a lot of things around Washington that the president is going to have to ask the Chinese for their help resolving what's going on with Iran. That doesn't put us in a strong position. That means we need something from them, and they're going to extract more things from us. So I think, obviously, the Chinese are hurting as well. The whole world is hurting. The whole global economy is hurting because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And I think it's just unfortunate that on the board, the things we need to negotiate with the Chinese, we're now creating a dependency on them that otherwise wouldn't be there if it weren't for the war in Iran.
Say what, Miss Expert on everything? China is dependent on Iran for oil and gas. The Strait of Hormuz being closed is hurting a Chinese economy that was already weak. Meanwhile, because of Trump, our economy is roaring, and we're drowning in surplus oil and gas that the world is lining up to buy. That's called leverage in real-world power politics. Slotkin spent the weekend in Toronto with Mark Carney, Barack Obama, the people from the Center for American Progress who populated Obama's administration, and, of course, Alex Soros. They were desperately planning their next moves in the hopes of saving themselves. They've never understood that physical economic growth determines whether a nation survives or not. That's not the only problem. As President Trump said in the State of the Union, they're also deeply crazy, despite their manufactured public faces.
But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. Incredible. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
I'm Barbara Boyd, and I've watched and documented the slow-motion collapse of our country beginning in 1971. That's when Wall Street and London bankers started the deliberate destruction of our economy. At the same time, they insisted we surrender our sovereignty to the global rules-based order Carney and Obama are trying desperately to save. Today, we'll first check in on Mark Carney's losers. Then we'll tour the American economic boom. Finally, we'll look at a possible U.S.-China breakthrough that could power a renaissance for all of humanity. But first, hit that like button and share this video. It increases our reach on YouTube. Now, Susan Kokinda told you on Monday about Mark Carney's meeting in Canada with Barack Obama and the people who ran his administration. It was a desperate summit trying to figure out how to recapture the American working class, the people who see Donald Trump as their last defense against the likes of Obama, Slotkin, and Carney's central bankers. Carney's idea is to have Canada and the UK join the EU and collaborate against US, China, and Russia. But the UK population is in revolt and is ousting their man there, Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer, Tony Blair's heir, Obama's protege, the safe pair of hands the rules-based order needed in London, just got smashed in last Thursday's local elections. He's vowed to soldier on in what he calls a 10-year project. But the UK population wants none of it. Here's a meme summing up the situation. Now, the way Carney's crowd thinks Europe can revive its collapsing economy is through defense spending, and that depends on the Ukraine war continuing. But there's huge problems there, too. On Monday, Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau named Andrei Yermak, Zelensky's former chief of staff and lead negotiator with the United States, as a suspect in a $10.5 million money laundering scheme. And that's just the beginning of the probe. Also on Monday, Zelensky's former press secretary, Ilya Mendel, went on Tucker Carlson and painted Zelensky as a power-hungry fanatic. Alex Craner, who tracked Ukraine for years and has personal contacts there, has a terrific summary on his Substack. He thinks the country is headed into civil war. And Senator Slotkin, the pretend know-it-all who went from Toronto straight to CNBC to diss the president ahead of his China trip, is the credentialed product of the war establishment that built every disaster of the last quarter century. Mentored by John Negroponte, Stephen Hadley, and Lieutenant General Doug Luty under Bush, she helped sell the Iraq War, and those were the key players. Then she went to the Pentagon working with the Michelle Flourney network that got climate change declared a major national security threat. John Brennan on MSNBC Monday gave us a window into what Obama was telling those people in that secret closed session in Toronto. Brennan, facing indictment in Florida, spilled the beans as follows.
I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice.
That's what they have left, a bureaucratic insurgency. Meanwhile, the actual American economy is roaring despite all the expert prophets of doom. Now, if you're hearing for the first time who our real enemies are, you need to be signing up for our free newsletter at PrometheanAction.com. The link is in the description. Here's what's really happening with the American economy under Trump, despite the temporary inflation caused by those supporting Iran and prolonging the war by their support. On Tuesday, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth went up to Capitol Hill and testified back-to-back before the House and Senate Appropriations Committees on President Trump's $1.5 trillion defense budget proposal. He said the Pentagon was leading the economic revival by rebuilding the entire manufacturing base necessary to defend the country.
The department has helped stimulate more than 250 private investment deals in 39 states and 180 cities in 150 companies, not just the big primes, worth more than $50 billion. This has resulted in 280 new or expanded facilities and more than 18 million new square feet of American manufacturing, 70,000 new jobs. These $50 billion in investments in new plants, new assembly lines, and new factories are private investments, not taxpayer dollars. By completely transforming our department's business model, American companies, private companies, are investing in their own factories with their own money, a historic demonstration of American manufacturing and defense revitalization, all with their capital, not Uncle Sam's. This has not been done before and is long overdue. It's from a bureaucratic model to a business model. These investments equal great things for American families and American workers and help ensure that we can defend the American dream, all American made. Together with the help of this Congress, we're turning the lights back on the arsenal of freedom.
That's the defense industrial base. Now let's take a look at trade. On Monday, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer testified before the House Ways and Means Committee. The numbers he laid out are the answer to why American workers support the president and why the economy is roaring. Greer reported that since President Trump's reciprocal trade program kicked in on April 2nd, 2025, Liberation Day, through February of this year, the U.S. goods trade deficit has fallen by 24% compared to the same period a year ago. Under Biden, the goods trade deficit was growing 8% per year on average. Under Trump, it's not just slowed, it's reversed.
What we have are production lines moving back from Mexico, back from Canada to the United States. You know, Stellantis, who makes Jeep and Dodge, they have a $13 billion investment in the U.S. Toyota, who makes in America a $10 billion investment. So we are seeing these critical supply chains, these critical industries that bring an ecosystem of manufacturing with them. They're all coming back. And if you look at January, February, and March of this year, U.S. exports were over $300 billion in each month. Those are the highest figures in 250 years of American history, each month beating the record of the previous one. This doesn't happen organically. This is something that comes from all the deals that President Trump has been striking.
So while Connie's people are in Toronto trying to organize Canada, the UK, and the EU into an axis against the United States, China, and Russia, the United States is producing more steel than Japan, exporting at record levels, rebuilding its manufacturing base with private capital, and unwinding 25 years of dependence on China in a single year. This is what President Trump is bringing to Beijing, and President Xi is smart enough to see it. Now, President Putin is coming to China and will meet with President Xi right after President Trump leaves. Most are missing the possible significance. Together, these three countries have the scientific and economic potential to launch a new human renaissance. That's what I believe President Trump sees and what he's angling for. That's why Carney is so freaked out. Look at the scale of what's possible. In space, China is targeting a crewed moon landing before 2030. Trump's Artemis program will have us back on the moon by 2027 and starting to build a human colony there. SpaceX gives the United States the most advanced reusable launch system on the planet. Russia is, of course, the other main spacefaring nation. In fusion power, on January 20th, 2025, China's experimental advanced superconducting tokamak, the artificial sun, as they call it, sustained plasma at over 100 million degrees Celsius for 1,066 seconds. The U.S. has achieved breakthroughs in laser fusion and compact fusion systems on a similar scale and is aiming for rapid commercialization under Trump. In nuclear fission, in April 2025, Chinese scientists successfully refueled a working thorium molten salt reactor in the Gobi Desert while it was still running, a world first. The reactor's chief scientist, Yu Hongji, publicly credited declassified American research from Oak Ridge National Laboratory in the 1960s that the United States walked away from. Quote, the U.S. left its research publicly available, waiting for the right successor. Under Executive Order 14302, reinvigorating the nuclear industrial base, President Trump directed the start of construction of 10 new large reactors by 2030 and quadrupling U.S. nuclear capacity by 2050. All of these frontiers have enormous military and economic spin-offs. The country that masters them controls the planet. Joint cooperative agreements in these areas could change every economic and cultural relationship on this planet. That's how we've seen President Trump think. That may be the biggest surprise for Carney's losers coming out of the month of May. Now, there's a lot more happening, but the potential of this China trip dwarfs it all. J.D. Vance will make new announcements on the Democrats' fraud industry today. A whistleblower will testify about the COVID cover-up to Rand Paul in the Senate, and the deep state prosecutions are piling up. But winning the midterms means conveying how this president is reordering the world for the better by making America the premier power on the planet. Not in fancy words or highfalutin empty rhetoric like the Carneys and Obamas, but by building things for the good of our people and our future. We have the urgent task here of educating people about Trump's economic system, the American system, and its deep roots in our history starting 250 years ago with Hamilton. It means showing them the joy of having a mission in life and leaving a better world for our children, even before the president's economic policies are fully realized. That's the only way to win the midterms. That's what we're doing here at Promethean Actions. Join us by becoming a subscriber or contributor. Your contribution today helps us grow and expand while you learn and hopefully get active. Thanks very much for listening.
Please take a moment and subscribe to our free newsletter at prometheanaction.com.
I was muted. So sorry about that, guys. What I was saying is, if you're not following Promethean Action, you need to, because those ladies give an excellent breakdown of everything. So I just saw this come across. Breaking. It has been revealed that Gavin Newsom's California spent $200 million in taxpayer funds to give every state prisoner an iPad that is almost exclusively used for watching porn and grooming children in the real world. Unfreaking believable. Yep, Sarah said mute jar. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I see Irish Patriot over there going, what? Over at Facebook. So just unbelievable stuff, guys. I can't. It's almost unbelievable. It's almost comical at this point. All right, so you remember me talking about we're going to be doing some digs and stuff like that. I'm not going to be going into the Q drops. We're going to be doing a 2-part series on the divine math and the Grand Jubilee. So let me get my screen shared here. Just give me just 1 second here. There we go. All right, so here we go. So Casey Coyle with Truth or Media, she has her own show too. And we'll get to that here in just a little bit at the end of this. So we're going to go through a 2-part series because this is a big article, but it is so important that you understand this stuff. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and take me off screen so you guys can see this. Okay. And I'm going to take the chat off the screen because I want you to read along with me. All right. So the divine math of the Grand Jubilee, decoding the 42-year loop, the 42 trillion detonator, and the ledger reset hiding in plain sight. As you can see, it's gotten 71,000 views, so that's pretty huge for an X article. Decoding the 42-year loop, the 42 trillion detonator, and the ledger reset hiding in plain sight. They told you the system was stable when they printed trillions out of thin air. They told you the bank account was a private vault while they built a back door for the bureaucrats. They told you inflation was transitory while your grocery bill, insurance, taxes, energy cost, and general will to participate in society all got taken out back and mugged. And then when people started noticing that the math didn't math anymore, they did what they always do. They blamed you. You just don't understand economics. You just don't understand monetary policy. You just don't understand global markets. You just don't understand the complexity. Sure, nothing to see here. Totally normal. Because apparently, we're supposed to believe that the same people who can't balance a budget, secure a border, audit the Fed, or explain where trillions disappeared to are the only ones smart enough to understand the financial system they purposely broke. Well, I've got news for them, whoever they are. We, the people, are done being pawns in their game. And here's the truth. For decades, we've been told the economy is a complex machine that only Ivy League experts can understand. That was a big fat lie. The economy is a ledger. And real quick, guys, I want to say something real quick. So you hear a lot about ledgers and everything like that, okay? The way our economy operates right now with the central banks, it's a closed ledger. We're not privy to look at the transactions of the Federal Reserve. Transparency is the only way forward. So I want you to remember that. The system we are currently in is a closed ledger. You don't see what goes on behind the scenes. They don't want you to. The economy is a ledger. That's it. Who owes what? Who controls settlement? Who controls the scales? Who gets forgiven? Who gets punished? Who pays? Who profits? Who gets erased? And now right now, the old ledger, the one built on debt, deception, inflation, manipulation, and fake scarcity, is being dismantled. It's speeding towards its own mathematical death, but don't worry. A divine architecture has been built to replace it. This isn't random chaos. It's sequence and structure. It's strategic transition. And once you see the markers, once you see the divine math, the panic starts to fade. Because the point isn't that we need to know every twist and turn. We don't. Honestly, nobody does. But what we can see is the pattern. And the pattern doesn't look like an accidental, chaotic collapse. It looks like a controlled exit, a ledger closure, a planned wind down, a grand jubilee. Before we dive in, you might want to get comfortable and mainline some caffeine, because we're about to go behind the looking glass and track the signal all the way down the rabbit hole. You can see Alice in Wonderland. The deeper you fall, the clearer the lie. In this article, you're going to see why the rapidly approaching 42 trillion debt ceiling isn't a chaotic failure of the system, but a detonator. You'll understand why President Donald Trump and Elon Musk are moving with mathematical precision to close the 42-year loop. And I'm going to stop real quick. I want you to start noticing all the 42 comms out there. You're going to start seeing them now. They've already been all over the place. So just start looking for hunt that number 42. Kind of like you hunt 17, hunt 42. Once that started in 1983 and ends on May 17th, 2026. This is about seeing the big picture. It's about seeing the numbers patterns. It's about understanding that we've been freed from the old ledger of debt and being gifted ledger of grace. It's about the divine design of the exit plan. But to understand the exit, we must first have to understand the markers of the architect. And the number that keeps showing up at the center of the architecture is 42. Not once, not twice, but everywhere. In financial and computer codes, in ancient judgment systems, in artificial intelligence, in blockchain escrows, in court systems, in legal rules, in literature, in precise dates, in debt thresholds, in transition markers, in the math of the divine plan. While it's easy to miss all these as coincidental, at some point, coincidence starts needing a stronger resume. And you know, from the Hitchhiker's Galaxy, you know, that movie, 42 was the answer to everything. Remember that, folks? Remember that from back in the day? To the builders of the new system, 42 is the universal answer. And to connect the dots of the divine math, we've got to look past the spreadsheets into a language and symbolism being used by people building the next iteration of the world economy. So let's jump right into the source code. The number is 42. Elon Musk frequently uses 42 as a nod to the sci-fi book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, in which the number 42 is the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. But in this decode, 42 appears much more than science fiction Easter egg. It's being used as a marker for systematic transition. Because in this landscape, numbers aren't just quantities, they're markers pointing to a transition from a debt-based system to a transparent protocol-based one. They're signatures, they're coordinates, they're signal language. And 42 is showing up all over the new financial architecture. Elon Musk in this symbolic architecture. Musk's use of 42 is likely not just a cute little nerd joke. It looks a lot more like he's signaling the transition with surgical precision. Elon released Grok 4.2 at the same time that X Money Beta launched. The X Money Beta was rolled out exactly 42 initial users. Let me read that again. This X Money Beta was rolled out exactly 42 initial users. The very first public peer-to-peer test payment system to William Shatner, exactly $42. So back up. 42, it had 42 beta users in X. The same time that Grok 4.2 is released, X Money is launched. The first transaction, a payment to William Shatner for $42. That's not subtle. That's Elon standing on the number of an everything app with a flare gun saying, please notice the number. Musk is signaling that in his system, the everything app is the answer to a $42 trillion problem. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll come back to the 42 trillion in a bit. Because first we need to understand how deep the 42 markers go. You can go look at that meme right there. The Ledger of Truth, Ancient Egyptian Ma. 42 has been a very important number throughout history. In Egyptian mythology, the soul is judged on the 42 judges of Ma'at. The deceased had to recite the 42 negative confessions to prove they lived in balance, Ma'at. Several of those confessions dealt directly with financial ethics. I have not added to the weight of the balance. I have not tampered with the plumb bob of the scales. I have not diminished the food offerings. In other words, I didn't rig the scales. I didn't cheat the ledger. I didn't manipulate the measure. This may all sound familiar because what's inflation? A tampered scale. What is market manipulation? A false weight. What's fiat debt expansion? A corrupted measure. So when we talk about transparent ledgers, blockchains, truth machines, immutable records, and the end of the opaque financial system, 42 becomes a symbolic return to judgment. This frames the new economy as a judgment on the old corrupt one. The corrupt ledger is being weighed. The scales are being balanced. The old system being brought before Ma'at. And I don't think it's going to pass the audit. The wildcard system. The wildcard protocol. The wildcard protocol, ASC 242, asterisk. First, a word of warning. This one might knock you on your asterisk. We see the increasing significance of 42 in more modern times too. In computer science, the number 42 is ASCII's designation for the asterisk. The symbolism, the asterisk is a universal wildcard character that represents everything or any possibility, any file, any character, any possibility, any match. It's the universal selector. That's important when we're talking about a new ledger system that can handle any currency, any asset, any token, any payment rail, any form of value. This is why the 42 marker that's attached to the X money is significant. X money just isn't Venmo with an X logo. It's potentially a universe financial interface inside the Everything app. A system that can represent money, identity, communication, commerce, AI, digital assets, and anything that can value can be assigned to. 42 just isn't the answer. It's the wild card. It's the universal key. Because when a system like X Money or a new ledger is also built to be a part of the global Everything app, using 42 is a subtle technical nod to the idea of a universal interface. This is a system that can answer any question because it can represent any form of value. And the ASCII 42 code isn't just the only place we're seeing this 42 wildcard connection pop up. The wildcard meme, a scripted failure versus a forced reality. Real quick, I don't know if you know this, folks. I made that meme. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to go over it, but there's a story behind this meme. And if she doesn't tell it in this article, I will tell it to you. The wildcard meme, a scripted failure versus a forced reality. Remember that? I have all the cards. Wild card. This connection to the wild card isn't just a theory. It's being signaled through viral memes currently dominating on social media. If you follow Josh, the Justice Cometh on X, the founder of Truther Media, you've likely seen the meme of POTUS holding up the hand of Uno wildcards with the caption, "I have all the cards." This image has become a massive cultural marker shared by Trump on Truth Social multiple times and echoed also by the White House. But it's what happened after the meme went viral that reveals a lot about the true state of the informational war. Last week, the mainstream media attempted to do what they always do: mock what they don't understand. 4 different late-night talk show hosts were highlighted on the Greg Gutfeld show, Gutfeld, because they all told the exact same anti-Trump joke, nearly word for word. The script they were all reading went from like this. Trump posted an image of Enzo holding a hand of Uno cards with the caption, "I have all the cards." Okay, but if you know the point of Uno is to have none, right? Let's call it for what it really is. A Mockingbird media script. 4 different talk show hosts, 4 different networks, one single coordinated talking point. They were so busy sticking to the script that they missed the tactical reality. In any game, being dealt a hand of consistently entirely of wild cards is an immediate, unstoppable path to victory. It means you aren't just playing the game, you're defining it. But most X-File-ish elements of this story is how the image was actually created. This is a true story, folks. Josh told me that when he created this meme, he didn't ask for Uno cards. He repeatedly prompted Grok for a royal flush, the ultimate hand in poker. No matter how many times he asked for those poker cards, Grok bypassed his intent and kept forcing wild cards instead. That matters because in the architecture of this transition, the wild card isn't random. The answer is 42, and the 42 is the wild card. The fact that AI programmed by Elon Musk, one of the primary architects of the new financial system, refused a standard winning hand to force a 42-coded wildcard hand instead tells us a whole lot. The answer is being forced into reality even when the AI is continuously prompted for something else. Mathematical completion. The last puzzle piece. Then there's the math. In 2019, mathematicians finally solved a 65-year-old puzzle involving the number 42. They found the solution to the sum of 3 cubes for the number 42 by using global supercomputer network. 42 was the last number between 1 and 100 that had not been solved. Let's sit for that for a second. The number known as the answer to the ultimate question in life, the universe, and everything was also the final unsolved piece in this famous mathematical puzzle between 1 and 100. That's the kind of thing that makes rational side of your brain say, "Oh, come on." And the other side of your brain say, "Huh, interesting." In the world of finance, artificial intelligence, and computational systems, this is very symbolic. 42 represents completion, the final piece, the answer finally solved, the chaotic problem mastered through computation. We're about to our stopping point in this article, and I'm going to pick up tomorrow. And now, here we are, standing at the cliff's edge of a financial system that becomes an unsolved debt equation. A system that only survives as the public keeps pretending the math is fine. Spoiler alert, the math is not fine. And we're going to end it there. So we'll continue that article tomorrow. I just gave you a little bit of a piece of it today. It was very, very interesting. Trying to look at the chat, see if anybody had any questions. Yeah, this at 10:15. Yeah, this is interesting. Just wait. Just tune in tomorrow and we'll finish going over this. So guys, we've had a lot of news today. Trump is still over in China at this point, doing his thing, getting our world back realigned. So thank you, USAID Pay. Good show. I really enjoy doing this show. I really, really enjoy waking up and giving you guys the news and some of the digs and chatting with you guys in the morning, giving you guys something to watch in the morning. So thank you all for joining us. Tonight, don't forget, at 8 p.m., we have Tracing Justice tonight. We're going to be having a Justice Roundtable tonight with some of our Truth or Media peeps. I haven't done a roundtable in a while, so we're going to revisit that. Yeet Force is going to be on with us. He is going to be making his debut tonight on Tracing Justice. So he's part of our Tracing Justice family. And don't forget, go to www.truthermedia.com and to get our complete show lineup. And also, don't forget, we're going to be raiding over to Real AF Patriot, Keeping It Real, with his new show coming on at noon Eastern. So it's a little early. So raid on over there. Give him a thumbs up. Give him a head start, guys. I really appreciate that if you could do that for me. So we're going to end in prayer today, okay? As we always do. Lord, I come to you in Jesus' name, Lord. Hallowed be thy name, Lord. Lord, thank you for giving us another day on this fantastic earth that you created for us, Lord. And I want to thank you for sending your son to die on the cross for all of our sins, Lord. Because without you doing that for us, we would have no path to glory, Lord. We would just be lost. We would be in the hands of Satan, Lord. And I thank you for doing that for us. I thank you for everything that you've given us. I thank you again for this day that you've given us. And I want to ask that you help all the people out there and fulfill their needs, Lord. I know that everybody is struggling out there, Lord, financially, emotionally, physically. We ask that you take your hand and just place on these people for healing and give and provide for them, Lord. Because we know without you, Lord, we can't do anything, Lord. It's all in your time. This is your plan that we're going through right now. It's the divine plan. It's your plan. And Lord, I ask that you help us put on the armor of God, your armor every day, Lord, that we might help to fight against the principalities that run this world, Lord, in the evil and exposing the evil that runs this earth, Lord. We ask you that you keep us safe, Lord, from all the evil and to keep us away from temptations, Lord. And for those that are going through the refiner's fire right now, Lord, we ask that you give them a little bit of grace, Lord, if it's your will. And I thank you in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys, thank you so much. And again, we will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. on your favorite platform, Rumble, X, YouTube, Facebook, or Pilled. You can join us just about anywhere now. So my partner in crime, my wife, Tracy, will be back in the seat tonight on Tracing Justice with us. So I always I feel kind of lonely doing a show by myself, you know. We usually do shows together, but you know, Dawning Justice, she's not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do Dawning Justice. I'm just saying that right now. So I have to fly solo in the mornings, but I'm so excited to have my wife next to me tonight. So again, thank you guys. Thank you. And we'll be raiding over to Real AF Patriots, Keeping It Real. Give him a thumbs up. And guys, remember, let's go make fishers of men. Let's go save some souls. And let's go save the Republic. Have a good day.
You thought you could bury me, thought the dark would close in. You were wrong, you don't know who I am, and you never will. You drew the line in the dirt and flame, and said I'd break, said I'd shame, whispered threats through a locked back door, but I've heard sound before. You pushed and pulled, tried to crack my back, but I don't collapse like that. I don't run, I don't bend, I don't bow to fear of men. When the dust clears, you'll see you never buried me. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard, not just whispered in time. You can't stop this, we will not fall. When justice rises, it answers the call. You thought you knew what I stood on, but this ground's been here too long. Stealing the blood, fire and breath, I don't scare easy at talk of death. You don't know the weight I carry, or the hand that stands behind me. You can shout, you can lie, try to crucify, but chains you swing and stones you throw only make the pressure grow. We're not backing down, we're holding the line. Truth will be heard in its own time. You can't stop us, we will not fall. Justice is coming, and it's coming for all. You thought you could take me down. You don't know who I am. I don't stand alone. God holds my sword of truth.